Hello, Origin Gaming. Welcome to Week 8 announcement for the league this week. So we had one of our best weeks for Nightfalls. Those are some of the closest games we've seen, or matches we've seen. The second and third were just separated by 100 points, and just a few hundred points above them was first place. So for this week, thank you everyone who's played so far, who's been participating the past 7 weeks. Thank you for giving me some great suggestions. We're going to go over the polls again briefly, see if there's talk about any changes we've seen. Please remember, go back through the polls and get us or let me know what we need to do better for next season. So please, like I said, let me know. How to improve for next season. So polls for they don't seem to want to open right now. Hold on 1 second. This will let some of you log on anyway, because I know I didn't post it early like I usually do. So let's go roll back a little bit, see if we can. Oh, and if you're on here, you're probably already signed up, and make sure you let your friends know, let your clanmates know that we are doing our first ever purge. The community has been around about a year. We have a lot of people who have come and gone. So make sure that you come in, you sign up, and you check yourself in. We will be removing anyone who does not sign in at the end of we have 4 days, I think 3 days at this point left. So make sure that you check in, especially if you're in the league. I don't want to kick you out just because you can't follow instructions. So no major changes in the polls. Again, we have 2 weeks for PvP Nightfall and 1 week for Raid is still kind of the leading suggestion for in the general chat. Adding Gambit, like I said, is likely going to happen. Larger PvP matches, again, probably going to happen. At least have options for it. And then 2 weeks per raid, or really just more weeks per raid and no challenges on your raid. So don't forget, they'll be posted again in this week's post, but just go through, sign up for the league, or not, don't sign up for the league. Well, yes, do, but don't forget to go fill out those polls. Let me know how to improve for next year. So moving on to the actual announcement of events for this week. So Nightfall or Raid we'll start with, because that's easy. No changes from last week. Again, it is EOW, Prestige, and COS. I know I saw a lot of people attempt COS. I don't know if we have any completions yet, but I know I was in at least 2 attempts that got to the last encounters. So like I said, in Chronosaurus and then Prestige EOW, I believe Bungie said that EOW this week is going to be kinetic cannon, energy sniper, and heavy anything you want. Not a terrible loadout. I think last week's was better, but it's too late now. So do that. And then, like I said last week, any raids that your team did not complete can be completed with those same restrictions that we had before. So we've had SOS, Leviathan, Last Wish, Scourge, and EOW all completed. I believe everyone's completed EOW. I believe I got Scourge times for everyone, but all those other raids, if your team didn't complete them, you can complete them for 2 points. It'll allow possible catch-up, although I doubt it. So for the ordeal, it's a little different this time. So we're going to have all the same class, which we've done before. This time, though, we're going to do all the same subclass, except one from each tree. So if you go, say, Solar Hunter, you're going to have 6 Shooter, Blade Barrage, and bottom tree Celestial. So make sure that you're paying attention there. All the same class, all the same subclass, but one of each tree. So we're mixing it up a little bit. For kinetic, we'll be running pulse. For energy, we'll be running shotgun. And for heavy, it'll be a grenade launcher. So again, pulse, shotgun, and grenade launcher in that order. So I mentioned earlier that PvP, or I mentioned in the chat earlier that you might want to pay attention. PvP is going to get a little trickier this week. Mostly for the scoring, the rules are kind of fairly straightforward, but the scoring is not straight up and down like you might think. So this week, it's going to be 4v4 Rumble. You're asking yourself, how can we do Rumble 4v4? Well, I'm about to tell you. So it'll be 3 rounds for 10 minutes a round. So about 30 minutes of game time plus transitions. And there'll be some calculating of scores in there, I'm sure, too. So there are no weapon or subclass restrictions in this event this week. The winner is going to be the team with the best combined efficiency at the end of the match. So you can't go stand in the corner and shoot your teammates and alternate back and forth, because then your efficiency ends up being 1, because 1 death, 1 kill, and it ends up not working out too well for you. So basically, we're doing 4v4 with friendly fire turned on. So, like I said, 4v4, Rumble, 3 rounds, 10 minutes. So at the end of each round, basically you're going to have to calculate which team has the best efficiency. If you don't want to do it that way, you can just play all 3 rounds, and I'll do the work myself. But know that when I do the work, that's kind of how it goes. Captains, if you can do your best to send me the screenshots in order. Sometimes they get jumbled up. If we can get them in order, that way if you don't do the calculations and some team wins 2-0, I'm not counting in the third round of event, or third round, into the chart. So the chart's still up, still looking good. In case you're wondering, Chainsaw is still leading with 85 points. The Usurpers are at 44, and the Diamond Cutters are at 34 points. So still a little bit of a fight for second, but the Usurpers did open up a little bit more of a lead. So like I said, you have the last 2 weeks now to complete those 2 raids and any other raids you want to do. Make sure you take part in the polls that are posted. The next week, week 9, is going to be the final week of season 1, and it's also going to be the signups for season 2. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but there will be a increased barrier of entry for the poll. It won't just be a poll where you sign up and then half the people who sign up don't actually participate or show up or whatever ever. So might be something like I'll post a new spreadsheet. You have to go in, highlight your name, put in your time zone. I think I mentioned this last week, but just a little bit increased barrier for entry, just to make sure that the people who are participating want to be there. I know I've heard from multiple people, especially some of the more active people, that it's a little stressful for them. They might not want to compete next week or next year or season. And I think a lot of that is just they're carrying their team so much. They're putting in so many hours, and they have teammates who can barely. I understand the time zone issues, but for some people, there is no time zone issue. They just don't show up. So again, to prevent that, also, you have 2 more weeks to get events in. If you haven't participated yet, pretty much you're out of luck at this point. Possibly an exception if you do every one of your team's events the next 2 weeks. But I doubt those people are going to do that. If you were a late addition to the league, then obviously you can get exempted a little bit. So like Dacum, obviously, specifically, I'm thinking of, like, he joined like last week or 2 weeks ago. Straggly says his back hurts. I'm sure it does. Kami's back hurts. Diamond, Gabby, War, Lucy, I know, all showed up a lot for their teams. So, again, figuring out how we're going to do the draft next season still. looking at a few options. Probably there are some of them out there during the last week or the after week 9. I've settled on 3 weeks after the season ends to do the draft, so that would be 4 weeks from now. If there are enough participants, we are looking for captains for next season. If you're a random person wandering into my channel because it says Destiny 2 in the title, then that's great. We are Origin Gaming. You can find us online at Origin Gaming community page on Band. I'll provide a link in the comments for that. And you can find me, FTR Prez, online pretty much fairly frequently on PSN. Also, that Barry White and Shane Saw. What's his last? I don't even know what his last numbers are. So, we'll get you out some people you can get in touch with. I'll put the elders in the comments. We'll get you in touch. Find a clan for you. We have 3 clans active. Three very active clans. A fourth that is in and out. They don't participate so much in